Hi crafters, and welcome to Creative Moments by G. I'm G and so happy that you're with us today. Today we are talking about stencils and the power of stencils to create that beautiful card. So let's head down to the crafting table and let's get busy. I want to show you this card. Look at this card. Look at this flower right here. This was created using a stencil. Look at how pretty that card is. It did all the work for you and it turned out so beautiful. You didn't have to use alcohol markers or anything. Let me show you how to do this. This particular stencil is called Layers of Beauty by Stampin' Up, and it has 5 layers. They will create that beautiful flower that you saw. So we're just going to go ahead and dive in and create the flower. Now, what's so unique about these stencils is they have this little notch right here, in addition to having a number right underneath it, and that helps you know which stencil you're on and also where to line it up. So let's go ahead and do that. We are going to line this notch up right here in the top left-hand corner and just get it lined up perfectly. Now this first one does the background for you, and I have selected Azure Afternoon for the background and then Blueberry Bushel to give us that definition. So we're going to bring in that Azure Afternoon. Now you can tape your stencil down, and I would recommend that. However, I'm just going to hold mine because I feel very comfortable holding it down flat on the paper. Now I'm going to bring in a very light blending tool to do this on the first one. So let's just go ahead and blend our background, making sure that I get all the little areas. Now, when you come to an area like this, you want to kind of pounce around it because you don't want it to come up and then you would get something underneath it. So I'm just pouncing a little bit. Just very lightly going over these areas. Okay, and now we're going to lift this up. Now, I'm going to stay with this Azure Afternoon, but I'm going to bring in another blending tool and I'm going to do it a little darker, using the same color though. Now, I'm just going to line up that notch. It's the same color, but because I'm going over it with more pressure, it's going to create a darker area. Okay, now I finished with this ink pad, so I'm going to put it up and reveal what is happening. Now look at that. Our rose is starting to take shape. I'm going to bring in our third stencil, lining this notch up at the very top, and this time I'm going to bring in that Blueberry Bushel. It is much darker, so I'm bringing in another blending tool. And look at our roses. Now we're going to bring in our greens, And I'm going to use Granny Apple Green and Garden Green. So we're going to start with our lightest one first. Once again, I'm going to line up my notch right at the very top. And we have one more stencil. Look at that. This will give us our final definition for our card. And I'm going to use Garden Green. And I'm going to apply heavy pressure. And look at that. Look at how pretty that is. Now, we're not finished yet. You can leave it like that. You could also, for another tip, spritz it with some water and let it dry, and it would have a watercolor effect. But I don't want to do that. I want to go ahead and stamp the lines over this so that it even has more definition. And to do that, I'm going to use Night of Navy. So I'm taking my ink pad to my stamp because it's a large stamp. It's much easier to do it this way. Okay, and I'm just going to line this up. And look at that. How beautiful is that? Now I'm going to cut this out using the die that comes with the bundle. And here we have it. Look at that. Now what I'm going to do to my card is I'm going to bring in my trimmer and I'm going to cut off 1 1/4 on the front cover of this card, just so that I have a little area right here. Now I have selected some beautiful blue paper. I'm just going to lay this pattern paper right here on the side, just to give it some added dimension and a little bit more of a background. Now the next tip I want to give you is grab your borders that you can cut out. And we all have lots of dies that are borders, and that's all they are. So when you put them in your pocket, you don't have anything to worry about. But what about those stamp sets that you actually have borders in and you don't even know you have a border? Like we have 2 borders right here. So just a little tip, I go ahead and just label it with borders so that I know inside here we have some borders. So find the border that you like, and I decided to use this elegant border. I cut it out and I'm just going to add it right there. Look at how pretty that looks. So I'm just going to add some glue right here on the edge. Just add it. Now, what we need to do is stamp our message right here. And we are stamping grateful for you. that stamp comes from Layers of Beauty. The bundle, when you buy it, you get the stencils, you get the dies, and the stamp set. So let's go ahead and stamp that in Night of Navy. And we are going to add our flowers. Now I'm going to set these up on dimensionals. So I just need some dimensionals right there. And now we have completed our card. Look at this. Your stencil did all the hard work for you, created this beautiful rose. I showed you this one earlier. Look at that. It's all about the colors that you choose. And finally, I want to show you one more. Look at this one. Look at how pretty that is. Now, I want to remind you, all the measurements will be listed over on creativemomentsbyg.com. So take a moment and leave a comment. Which is your favorite? These are very quick and easy cards to make because of the power of stencils. Well, thank you so much for spending your time with me. I hope you enjoyed the Power of Stencils video. We absolutely love this stencil. Creates the most beautiful cards. Well, Monty and I wish you a fantastic day, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.